Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Mahoutsukai no Yome, Season 2, Episode 5. It's been a while, hasn't it? I have not forgotten about this series. In fact, I recently learned that in the fall season, I believe, of this year, so in a month and some change, second part of the second season will air, essentially a second core of the same season. So I'm gonna have to make up my being late with this show. I have like what 6 weeks left, not even, to watch how many 6 episodes. I think it actually works out. I think it actually does. One episode a week. Why not? I'm recording this episode today mostly because I was looking for something that I would vibe with. That I wouldn't need to put any, particular strain, particular effort into recording. The alternative was Undead Girl Murder Farce, and that series does require some certain effort if I want to try to figure out the mysteries and whatnot. This one, not so much. I would have picked maybe, I don't know, Zoom 100 or Atelier Ryza, but it just so happens that none of them have any new episodes out yet, so we're doing Mahoutsukai no Yome instead. Right. Yeah, we're doing Mahoutsukai no Yome. Perhaps you will see like 2 episodes of it this week, perhaps more. We'll see about that. I'm at a certain local convention for the weekend, so I might have a day when I just come back home and I'm tired, I'm spent, and the only energy I have is to record something that I vibe with, something that I don't need to spend any more energy on, like this show. Okay. Regardless of that, let's talk about the previous episode, because I believe a recap is in order after so much time. I skimmed through episode 4 before I sat down to watch this one. And the previous episode was mostly just Chise meeting with Rahab and talking a little bit about Elias. We've learned a little bit of his backstory. We've learned that he always had issues with emotions, and it's only now that Chise manages to awaken some human emotions within him. So Chise is very special in that regard. But something much more interesting, at least from my perspective, happened in the second part, or rather by the end of the episode, and we had a barrage of new important, seemingly important at least, things happening all at once. Zoe, the green-haired guy with goggles and ear mufflers or headphones or whatever it is, he was having a checkout at the nurse's office, and he said that everything is fine as long as he has those goggles and earmuffs. Which makes me believe he might be like oversensitive to magic or something like that, and it's like overstimulates him, and those things are supposed to stop him from perceiving magic in the air or something along those lines. He also asked about Chise, so he must have some sort of a problem or something regarding her, as we were suspecting so far, but we still don't have anything concrete. And he was overheard by Philomela, who can apparently turn into black mist, into black smoke, which is rarely a sign of a good guy. Right? If good guys turn into smoke, it's usually white smoke or steam or speckles of light or something. It's the bad guys who turn into bats, into miasma, into black smoke and whatnot. So I wonder if Philomela is on the bad faction right now because she's been forced to be in that faction by Veronica. Veronica, am I right? Yeah, Veronica Rickenbacker. And she will be freed from there by Chise or something like that. She got very concerned when she heard Zoe talking about Chise. I wonder why. And we ended the episode with Chise's roommate, who I don't think is listed here, unless it's May Atwood. It might be May. If so, then the photo is missing on any list. Regardless, Chise's roommate had a dream of making paper the like traditional way with sieves and whatnot, and a spider in the corner, and she woke up screaming in cold sweats, which is curious to say the least. I have no clue what was that all about, and I wonder how soon, if at all, we will learn about her issues. I mean, if at all, we will. I have trust in this show. But I wonder when, and I wonder what's the deal. Per team. So, what do I expect in this episode? I don't know. Probably Chise being back to school. I don't think she has like summer vacation or anything like that right now. She was just staying back at the cottage for the weekend, I believe. And now that the weekend is over, I suspect, she will be back at school, and maybe we're gonna learn what's the deal with Zoe. Maybe we're gonna learn what's the deal with Philomela. I don't know. Knowing that another core is afoot certainly changes my approach to this series a little bit. Because now I know that it could very well be a slow burn. None of the situations necessarily have to be resolved in just those 12 episodes. Some of that might persist to the second core. Maybe it's only gonna be in the second core that we learn of what Zoe's problem is. Maybe it's only then that we will learn what's the deal with Philomela. Maybe it's only then that we will learn what's the deal with the school, with this like blue glow laboratory they have underneath. So, right, it certainly changes my perspective. One more thing that's really worth mentioning as well, that the previous episode showed us, is that passage between planes, between realities, kind of sort of deal, that allows you to take a shortcut between like a cavern in the tree roots somewhere and some other magical place somewhere else, as long as you have the permission of the dwellers of this land between lands, and you throw them a bone or a human sacrifice every now and then. And as long as you don't stray from the path. Which we already can tell with utmost certainty that Chise will stray off the path. Or someone else will, and Chise will have to rescue them. It's a Chekhov's gun. It has to be. It really is a Chekhov's gun. A blatant one. Which I don't dislike, like, make no mistake, but still a very blatant Chekhov's gun. So, I think that will do it for the intro. It's been almost 10 minutes. So, how about we just stop talking and start watching, huh? To do that, you will of course need your subs to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to ask you guys for your support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, linked down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with all of that out of the way, and with all of that out of the way, we can start watching episode 5 of Mahoutsukai no Yome in 3, 2, 1, go. Starting with the OP. Yeah, I almost wanted to say that's gonna be it from me for today and check out. Yeah, I'm a little tired today. I love this track. The convention this year, it's like 5 days. It started yesterday, it was 3 hours. Today it was another 3 hours. Tomorrow it's gonna be from like 15 o'clock to 16 o'clock, I think, to 22 o'clock, something along those lines. Saturday it's morning until night, and Sunday it's like until 17 o'clock, something like that. So I'm gonna be busy for the weekend, alas. But I like it. It happens like once a year, so, I can sacrifice myself and deal with it once a year. I'm not moving out of my room for the week after that. No, I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna have a piss bucket and all. Oh? What's going on? You're gonna be friends soon enough. I mean, she's been living with like 2 people for however long, so of course she's gonna be a little bit, socially awkward. Hello, Ruth. Yeah. Cartaphilus? Are you thinking of Philomela by chance? Are you acquainted with her? No, just for fun. She's already a mage. That's fair. She's harsh, but fair. Abrasive, but decently nice, all things considered. Right? Like, she's gonna scold you for being an asshole, not an asshole, for being an idiot, and then she's gonna help you anyway. I am not against this kind of a character. I actually like this archetype. Does she have a reason for not wanting to get along with anybody? Oh, Webster tragedy. Tell me more, please. Okay, you're not gonna. That's an interesting full set. What do you mean normal classes? Is pharmacology a normal class? Or are you just coming back from, like, math? Yeah, he certainly exactly avoids Chise for whatever reason. I'm gonna call you Joe. I'm sorry. You're Joe. That's a nice spread of things. A croissant, some potatoes, and some more potatoes. Porridge. Okay. Rickenbacker, Veronica's surname. Yeah. No. Actually not. Okay. That's a nice initiative. Okay, a guild of bodyguards. Exactly. You probably shouldn't have asked that. Don't spill the beans, Chise. And there you go, spilling the beans. Yeah. You're not hurrying, Chise? Maybe she is. She could probably have like a sylph carry the porridge for her, like gather it into a bowl with wind magic and whatnot. That would be interesting, actually. Like, have a sylph or something fly porridge besides you and just feed you on the way. Oh? What's gonna happen? Okay, she's abrasive, but a good person. She's a mage. Are you talking about her being a, whatchamacallit? The queen. Oh, okay, so he's a fairy. And so he's reacting to Chise because she's the queen of fairies. Well, not like literal queen of fairies. Interesting. Okay. Okay. A male Medusa. That's uncommon. Well, at least he didn't turn anybody into stone, so... Yep. Interesting. Why would it trigger his transformation, though? Okay, we are forming our first, like, friend group. Yeah, very much so. Okay, so Gorgon, not a Medusa Gorgon. A whole family name. Beheaded. So that's why he's reacting to Chise so much. Hence the goggles, I assume. By the way, Chise was able to communicate with him. Is it because she's a... I still can't remember the term for her. The queen bee. Or is it because of something else? Interesting. A place for secret meetings. A secret garden in the middle of the college. Sup. No, why would anybody consider you a failure? No, of course the snakes aren't going to attack her. There we go. Why sound? Why is sound the trigger? As I said, she's a good girl. Just abrasive. Why not? Yes, he very much is the, like, android perfect student kind of an archetype. Okay, what do you mean by that? Like you were always living in isolation? Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, apparently. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he's just half Gorgon. Not really competent at being a Gorgon, but not a human either. Okay. Yeah, I guess that would cause all sorts of issues. Sleighbaggy. I remembered the term. I like his father. And I mean, yeah, again, everybody has their secrets. Chise is a Sleighbaggy. Yeah, the dragon arm. And the Cartaphilus eye. And being a Sleighbaggy. But they started mating with humans, I assume? Okay. Yeah. Actually makes sense. There we go. You have friends now. Okay, that was like a very fast way to organize a whole group of friends. And there you go. Someone said it. Probably not. Yeah, let's take a look at the fucking whatchamacall her, the nurse. No, he's just here to socialize. Who's to say you can't do it, though? Huh. Maybe you can be the first Gorgon sorcerer. Was that Philomela? Of course it was Philomela. Acting as a spy for Veronica. And thank you for your vigilance, Ruth. Okay, so that's why the ability to turn into black smoke and whatnot. Okay. Vague family. Oh. A contract of some sort? That's a very simple magic circle, right? Just. Do you just listen to orders from anybody? Or do you have like one particular master? First time someone asked you for something instead of ordering you to do something? That's an extremely simple magic circle. and a Brotherhood of Blood was born. That's excessive. That's excessive. Okay, I was about to ask what for, but yeah, that actually is a good reason to apologize. Oh, deep lore. Whomst. Oh. What you mean by that? Leaving the family? Okay. A rebel. Gotcha. That's why he was trying to learn magic so desperately. He doesn't want to be bound to being a sorcerer of a certain lineage. He wants to be a mage of his own making. Don't you fucking kiss right now? Okay, so now that path is open to them as well. And that's the episode. That was interesting. Okay, I really expected the friend group to form over the span of multiple episodes, not just, one episode, and we have, well, kind of hard to speak of a friend group yet, I guess. But Chise, Zoe, who else? Rian, the Chise's roommate, they are acquainted right now at least, and that's already a starting point. I really thought it's going to be like going person by person, right? Chise befriends Rian first, then she befriends Zoe, then she befriends Philomela. But instead, we have like acquaintanceship with multiple people, which will grow into friendship with multiple people, which will grow into best friendship with multiple people. Uh, that's nice. That's also a nice way to go about it. Certainly. And a preview of the next one, which tells us very little, just that old friends will return, including Cartaphilus. Sure, okay, whatever. Yeah, right now I guess we should watch it again, as always, shall we? OP, OP, OP. I love this song. Or however it goes. Yeah, this is the old guard, so to speak, from season 1. and this is the new guard. Sure. I really wonder what's the deal with Philomela. From what she said, it's like she's listening to everybody's orders, not like she has a singular master. Interesting. Don't call me anymore. So she's having beef with someone, but I really like her as a character. I really like that she's caring but abrasive. That she's going to scold you, but she will help you. She's not going to laugh at you and point fingers, haha, you can't do that. She'll be like, oh, gosh, you're really clueless about it. Let me help you with that. See, it was easy, wasn't it? I like it. I really like her archetype. And she's like, in general, helpful, right? I hate the hesitant, weirdly polite way you talk. Don't be so polite with me. We're friends, aren't we? God damn it. Reminds her of someone. Of something. I think it might actually be Philomela. Especially after what she said at the end, that it's because people like her that her family is dead, she might be speaking of Philomela, who has, like, so much potential, be it to do good or do evil, and yet she's very, not recessed, what's the word for it, like, backed out from everything, very polite, overly polite, very, like, not humble, that's not even a good word, very skittish. I guess that would be a good way to put it. Her words are harsh, but I guess she's looking out for me. Yeah, her words may be harsh, but her actions speak volumes. Does it really remind you of Cartaphilus, though? Cartaphilus is more like pretending to be uncaring, but actually caring. Right? Kind of. She pretends to be here, but is here. Meanwhile, Cartaphilus pretends to be here, but is here, on a scale of not caring to care, on a scale of the opposite of caring to caring. You know what I mean. I hope. Always timid, trying to read the room, benevolent in all the wrong ways. Very much fits Philomela. Timid, yes. Trying to read the room, yes, to a fault. Benevolent in all the wrong ways, I guess fulfilling the orders of whoever gives them. You seem to think things are okay as long as you put up with everything. Again, very much fits Philomela. Don't go around saying people remind you of someone you know. It's not a particularly important reason, it probably seemed very silly to you. Let me fucking judge it. Don't belittle yourself. Don't start with saying, hey, the reason might not be that important. No, tell me about it. I'm gonna judge it. Yeah, do you think I'm so stupid I'd assume that when I haven't even asked what the reason is? I love her. It's such a, like, almost a gap moe between her words and her actions. Just states, I'm opening your closet. It's great. I love it. Considering the Webster tragedy, I can't blame her. So the Webster family was probably all entirely killed off. And she might be the last remaining survivor, perhaps her parents, or maybe some other, like, stray members of the family, but by and large, the family is no more. This is an interesting faucet. Does it... It's such a weird thing to get hung up on, but I don't think it has, like, hot and cold water. It's just 4 faucets of cold water, but only 2 sinks. Why wouldn't it just be 2 faucets of cold water and 2 sinks? I don't know, it's a choice for sure. As another side note, I will never understand a design with of a washing basin or whatever you want to call it with 2 faucets, one for cold water, one for hot. I will never understand it. Like, I guess way in the years past when whatchamacallit, like not ball joints, not ball swivels, the bowl with a hole that is inside of the faucet that lets some cold water in and some hot water in, right? In the days before that was a thing, I guess I can understand having 2 separate faucets, but ever since that was made, like, why would you ever have multiple faucets instead of just single one? Yeah. I'm still seeing photos of people's, I know, kitchens or bathrooms, and there is hot water faucet and cold water faucet, and like, why? How the fuck do you use it? You want to wash your hands and you have to fill the sink with water, or you have to burn your hands to wash off the soap, or you have to freeze your hands. How does it work? How does it work? How the fuck does anybody use that? I don't know. I have no clue. Whatever. That was a weird aside. Normal classes. I wish they were shown. I wish they attended like math or English or biology or something. And this is actually a good point. It's not as though everyone who graduates is going to make a living as a sorcerer. You also need some, basic skills, basic abilities. It's something that always made me wonder and always irked me a little bit in Harry Potter, for example, how they would only learn about the whimsical things, but nobody ever touched on math, right? How can you make potions when you need to keep certain proportions of certain ingredients, when you need to, like, weigh them and convert between weights and whatnot, and how can you do that without knowing math, right? How can you write essays on dark magic or whatever without knowing English, without knowing grammar and whatnot? How the fuck does it operate, right? Like, sure, the explanation is that you can have an enchanted pen that just writes the words for you and you just dictate them. Or you can have an enchanted scale that you say, 2 parts of this, 3 parts of that. You pour in the ingredients and you get the ingredients in proper proportions out, or, stuff like that. But it never spoke to me, So it's really nice seeing that it is a college of sorcery and magic and whatnot, but they still learn about those basic things. CG crowd. And Zoe is, of course, withdrawn. And what do we have here? Potato chips, potato pancakes, I think, potatoes with skins on. The last one is potato puree, or mashed potatoes, and the second to last, that looks like croissants. But I think it's actually like fried potatoes, sliced in slices, but not all the way through, spread out with some butter and chives and something. So it's just potatoes. It's just potatoes on those trays. And Joe has a croissant, a baked potato, and beans. That's how you know we're in the UK. They're eating white with white with white without a hint of spice. I'm not from the prestigious 7 shields of anything, but it also means I know how to teach in a way that makes sense to people. Yep. 7 shields, 7 families. Rickenbacker, Veronica, St. George, that would be Violet and Jasmine. Nightingale, I don't think we've met any of them. Hohenheim, I heard that surname somewhere, but it's not on my list. We will see that later. The Scrimger, that would be some other family. Rosengrave and Forsyth. I was about to say that the names come from flowers, but not all of them. Forsyth from Forsythia, Rosengrave from Rose, but the rest doesn't really match up, so whatever. Forget I said anything. Rosengrave, the employer. Those are visuals that we see in the opening, aren't they? At least some of those assets. So we don't know any Rosengraves because the silhouette is blank. St. George, that would be the twins, who are the hunters. Rickenbacker, the doctor, so Veronica, and possibly her goons. Forsyth, we don't know them. Hohenheim, we don't know them either. Nightingale, we don't know them either. We have seen this weird loot with a turtle shell. I think it was in the opening again. Scrimger, the protector. A lot of mages and sorcerers died in a war. That's an interesting detail. And the 7 created the college to keep the sorcery alive, to protect them, to nurture them, and to keep it alive. That's actually great. That's actually cool. It always feels sad when you have a world where magic is like disappearing and nobody does anything about it. Sad and weird, because you'd think there would be some attempts at preserving it, if not from the outside world, who is perhaps a part of the reason why the magic is going out of fashion, but the mages, the sorcerers, they should be trying to preserve magic, right? And it's very rarely the case. So it's nice to see that it is the case here. You don't want to get too involved with any of them. Okay. And Rian is different because he doesn't really feel himself to be the part of the family. He wants to make it on his own, and he's looking for ways to do that. And he's from the clan of bodyguards. He's going to be useful 100%. It also makes sense why the spirit said he smells of rust. The rust of weapons, the rust of armor, the rust of spilled blood. Not by him directly, but by his clan. His blood, his legacy has the smell of rust to it. Yeah, makes sense. What do we have here? Meatballs in some sort of a sauce. Half an omurice. And potato or something. I don't know. I need to make some meatballs with whatchamacallit, horseradish sauce, or eggs with horseradish sauce. Yeah, now this image of this like white sauce really made me salivate at the thought of horseradish sauce. It's been a while since I had like eggs in horseradish sauce. Yeah, he's leaving home. It's like set in stone. He doesn't plan to leave home. He doesn't think of leaving home. No, he's leaving home. That's that. It doesn't, doesn't concern me anymore. I'm no longer part of the family. It's a fact. Webster. Yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's hurry up to class. She, again, abrasive but nice. I like getting angry for the sake of other people. I really enjoy her character. You don't know who she is. And who is she? Do you know who she is? You don't. You said it later on that you just smelled some dragon and whatever, but you don't know who she is. You probably think you've managed to disguise yourself, but I can tell. No, you can't. Not really, not fully. That's why hearing the explanation from the horse's mouth is so important. So what's that tragedy about? Yeah, you're better off not knowing. And here's a Gorgon. Male Gorgon, such a rarity. Another thing to appreciate about the show. You're special. And he ran away. Poor Joe. His world is like crumbling right now. First, one of his classmates turns out to be a Gorgon. Then another of his classmates turns out to have a fucking familiar in her shadow. Then he has to sign a blood pact. Like, what the fuck is this day even? He's gonna go back to his room, just fucking plop down in the bed and grab his face. I always enjoy an inclusion of like a normie in a group of super normal, paranormal characters to keep sound out. But he's also fairly knowledgeable. That's another thing I enjoy. A character who is maybe not comic relief, not really, but who is like unsuspecting, right? You don't suspect much from this character, but they turn out to actually be competent. Even if at just one thing, but they are competent at something. They can't filter out auditory information, so they need the muffles. I wonder why. I wonder what is the deal with Gorgons and sound. Does it actually have some sort of a backing in mythology? I don't think it does. I think it's just something made up for the sake of the show. Oh, you're sure being kind. Pot kettle. And yeah, as long as you're holding those, you also should give him an apology. And she knows that, because she's a good girl at heart. Gorgon was originally the name of an old god, but it's used as a family name now. More like a race name, I would say, right? Because it's not like in that settlement it's all members of the same family. I don't think, at least. They get treated the same as anyone else now, but in the past they were hunted. Of course, magical creature, and the body parts of that magical creature certainly have some magical properties, because of course, it's alive and well even nowadays, with like Chinese buying out the rhinoceros horns and whatnot. Very cool thing people are thinking of doing. I don't know if it actually went into action. Some researchers or some group of people, I'm not sure who exactly, they started like producing, growing, or 3D printing or something rhino horns out of keratin that are structurally and visually identical to real rhino horns, and they can print them out in bulk, and they are planning, or maybe already did, or maybe it didn't happen, I don't know, but there was a plan at one point to just flood the market with fake rhino horns that are indistinguishable from real ones, to tank the price so that poaching them is no longer profitable. The more you know. I know a lot of useless facts like that. Their vocal range is quite a bit different from a human's. I thought it might be a case of Chise not realizing how special she is, that perhaps none of them could actually speak to Zoe. And maybe it's actually a detail in the show that we never actually see anybody speak to Zoe, and it's only Chise who was able to do that. But no, it seems like it's like kind of inconsequential. I don't know. And their eyes that can paralyze you. Gorgons can't speak with humans. Well, Zoe is managing just fine. Is it because he's just a half Gorgon? Possibly. And of course, Philomela. Philomela the spy. Private gardens. That's a very interesting place to have in a college. Right? Like, sure, okay, private gardens, they muffle sounds and whatnot. Certainly a good way, a good place to sit down and study and not be bothered by anybody. Certainly a good place to meet up as a circle or as a club or something to discuss your plans for the school festival or whatever, so that no other class can figure out what plans you have and steal the idea of maid cafe or stuff like that. But on the other hand, there will be people scheming. There will be people, I don't know, beating up some poor student and no one's gonna hear the screams. There's gonna be people fucking around, like literally in those gardens, because nobody can hear them do that. So it's a nice idea to have it, but risky for sure. I wonder how much did pregnancies spike when they built this labyrinth. Or maybe they didn't. Maybe there's like, fetus deletus spell they have and it's not a problem. They're set up so that you don't know who's inside. But Ruth, with some power transfer from Chise, can track down Zoe effortlessly. Because I'm a failure. Yeah, that's his issue. That he believes he's a failure. Fucking ant. And of course, Chise would be beloved by any supernatural creature. Sylphs, gnomes, elves, gorgon snakes, whatever. She's the queen bee for a reason after all. Here's your earmuffs. Let's talk. Why are you at the college? To socialize, essentially. He's been brought up in the secret Gorgon settlement by the Black Sea and never, met other people, right? And now it's a chance for him to socialize, to find some friends and whatnot. And yeah, apparently Gorgons are born from eggs, which is interesting. I've always been going back and forth between snake and human. Yeah. Unusually affected by lights and unusually sensitive to smells. I have no ability to use my eyes, so not a human, but a failure of a Gorgon in that limbo of, not belonging to humanity, but not belonging to Gorgonity either. My body sucks. Yeah. Why'd you come to the college? To make friends. To meet some people. For social purposes. No other reason than that. To train myself to be outside, essentially, yeah. And yeah, Chise isn't human either. The black hand of a dragon. The eye of a fucking wandering Jew. We're taught that our ancestors were dragons. That's why we get riled up when we see dragons. I guess it does make some twisted kind of sense. And this person comes along like catnip. Exactly. It's really hard for fairies and any sort of magical creature to, withstand Chise's riz, to use the wordage of the youth today. Is there something other than the dragon? Yeah. Yes, there is. But, haha, let's not talk about it. Let's, let's go to in a different direction. Let's, dose the knowledge bit by bit. People might learn, maybe not. I don't think Veronica will have a way to get the info out of Philomela, or maybe she will have a way. But yeah, if someone learns that Chise has part dragon and is planning to use that somehow against her, they won't know that she has the eye of Cartaphilus. So she might be able to use that to her advantage. Such a nice spring green. I'd love a dye this color. It's beautiful. There we go. We don't regret it, so we can't apologize for it. We'll create an opportunity for you. Maybe someone will call you beautiful, and here it is. And that is also a good question. Would anyone be surprised with someone with snakes for a hair? Take a look at fucking your professor of magic, Elias Ainsworth himself. Let's take a look at the nurse. Right? The instructors are all human. Haven't you seen Elias? Or is he still assuming that it's this, like, a mage swallowed by a spell kind of sort of deal? Experimented so much that turned inhuman? Maybe. That's what Beatrice, I think, believes, so maybe it's like the common belief that this is what Elias is. And there are still people who fall victim to hunters. Wouldn't surprise me. And he doesn't want to become a sorcerer. This is an interesting line. That's a human thing to do, isn't it? He's half human, right? So maybe he actually can become a sorcerer. The first Gorgon, or half Gorgon at least, sorcerer. Where do I have it? There it is. Zoe thus become a sorcerer slash mage. Maybe he'll pivot in that direction. Who knows? I don't remember how the spirits reacted to him in Elias's classes, so I'm not sure of that. But nothing stopping him from becoming a sorcerer. And an intruder followed us and tried to eavesdrop or peep. Practicing spying, I assume. And they know each other. Family. Once removed or twice removed, I don't know, whatever. Distant-ish family. You get past the noise suppression sorcery. Won't that mean that she has ways to get rid of that pact, or work through it somehow, find a workaround? You'd think that if you are from a clan that specializes in espionage, you would have some ways to deal with oaths of silence, right? You'd think that would be the case. Philomela somehow breaks the oath of silence. Maybe Veronica is going to tap into her brain and pull the information out. Wouldn't surprise me, really. I have no intention of telling anyone, but what if someone asks you? Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the right to refuse. This is interesting to me. I don't have the right to refuse. Is she from a clan of servants? Or something like that? We know that she's from the clan of people who deal with espionage. So, sure, that's one thing, but, like, being subservient to everybody? That doesn't really fit the image of a perfect spy, does it? Right? If someone could just order you to tell them who you work with, you would make for a really fucking poor spy, wouldn't you? So there has to be something more to it. It'll burn your throat if you say, it'll burn your fingers if you write. What if you, I don't know, use your feet to write it down? Or try to piss the words in the snow? I don't know, you know? Other ways of communicating. What if you use sign language to sign it? There are ways. What if you use a keyboard with your nose or with a chopstick held in your mouth? Right? I'm just trying to keep my secret as much as I can. Yeah. But don't tell anybody about Ivy. If that's an order, I'd prefer you make it clear. Will Chise's order work? Will anybody's order work? Is your clan about taking orders and not about having, like, a certain particular master? I wonder. It's a request. Someone asked me for something? It wasn't an order? What? A border with lilies and some pink sparkles is all that's missing. And a blood pact with a very simple magic spell. Joe really didn't sign up for it. He really didn't. He just wanted to eat some goddamn lunch with Zoe. He just wanted to talk a little bit with Ryan. He just wanted to go back to his dorms and play on his fucking Switch. This isn't the afternoon he envisioned. I still don't trust you sneaking around like that. My family died because of people like you. There's some beef, but we know that they become friends eventually from the ending. This is a face to make. Was she unaware of her family's deals? Is it only now hitting her that what she's doing might affect people negatively? What's the deal? I mean, she does carry a heavy burden. She does carry something heavy on her shoulders at all times because of all the, you know, bags under her eyes and whatnot. But I wonder if only now did it really sink in that she's not just, you know, carrying gossip to Veronica, which is, I'm assuming, what she's making, but there is potential to, like, destroy people's lives in what she's making. I wonder if she will try to free herself and if Chise will free her from whatever kind of a pact she might have made or whatever sort of a thing that curses in her blood. Maybe her entire clan is cursed to be subservient, but Chise will manage to break that curse on Philomela. Chise frees Philomela, whatever that means, whatever that entails. Okay. And this little bit, don't talk about it, don't mention it. And yeah, I'm no longer a Scream Girl. I decided I'm not gonna be a Scream Girl. Do you think we can abandon our own blood? Yes. Walks away. And yeah, if things get really bad, we can find a master. We can find a master. That's not normal speak. They're not saying, if things get really bad, we can run away. like Rian is planning to do, to run away from his family. They're not planning that. They're including some sort of a master in their plans. Are they werewolves or something? I don't know. What does having a master entail here? Who is that master? We can make all the escape routes we need. And yeah, from the ending we know that the three of them will be friends. There we go. That was the episode. Here I tried sitting down to record it, thinking that it's just going to be some, European mythology vibes and having fun with Chise and some mysteries and fun stuff, but and I'm not gonna have to think a lot, and I'm not gonna and it's not going to be a particularly long episode and whatnot. I've been talking for an hour and 10 minutes already, god damn it. And I had to do plenty of thinking and plenty of wondering, and my head is steaming right now with how much work my grey matter had to do. So probably wasn't the best choice of a show for what I wanted to get. But I don't regret it. I don't regret watching this episode. I don't regret being back on the Mahoutsukai no Yome train. I almost forgot how good of a show it is. And, man, I always say it. I take a break from watching Undead Girl Murder Farce, and I go back to it, and I'm like, oh, why did I ever stop? It's such a good show. I take a break from Zone 100, I come back, oh, why did I ever stop watching it? It's such a good show. I take a break from Mahoutsukai no Yome, oh, why did I stop watching it? It's such a good show. It's a pattern, I guess, with me. I don't know what else can I say. Right, regardless. This was a good episode. It solved plenty of issues, like right from the get-go. We didn't really have to wait as long as I thought for dealing with Zoe, for example, for figuring out what's Philomela's deal. What is Philomela's deal, rather. I really thought it's going to be something that carries on for however long. But no, it was dealt with much sooner, but all those mysteries were replaced by others. That's cool. That's important. Actually, I need to note down one more thing. Twins are not human, perhaps werewolves or something else to that effect. Sometimes shows have a tendency to either gather mysteries. A great example of that would be Tact of Destiny anime. It kept creating questions, not ever answering many. Sometimes shows answer the questions people had, and then they are left kind of without any mysteries, without any questions. The show is just gets carried by the plot, essentially. This show does it well, because it answered some of our questions, it solved some of the mysteries, but introduced just as many, if not more. Sure, we know what is Zoe's deal, but now we don't know what's the deal with the twins, right? Now we know what is Philomela's deal, and that why she's acting so oddly, but we don't know what causes it and the extent of it. We now know what is, I don't know, what kind of a character Chise's roommate is, but we have the added mystery of why does Ryan want to leave his family, right? It's a trade. And I like it because we will never run out of mysteries. We will never run out of secrets. And honestly, I'm in all for it. Those secrets, those mysteries aren't particularly long-lived. They get solved decently fast. That's another thing I really like, that they're not keeping us in the dark, edging us constantly for episodes upon episodes, seasons upon seasons, until we completely forget that something was a mystery, and then a reveal happens and it's just kind of a wet fart of a reveal because everybody just kind of forgot. I like the pace of it. And I like the pace of it, and now in retrospect, it kind of feels odd that another core has already been announced. Because with the pace we're going so far, everything that they might want to tell as in a story could probably very well happen within the time span of 12 or 13 episodes, but there is another 12 episodes incoming. So perhaps there's going to be something deeper, something more to it. Probably, possibly, we'll see. Or maybe the pacing will slow down. That's also entirely plausible. Now that we know our main cast, we know most of their deals, we can now take it easy and have an episode for Zoe, have an episode for Philomela, have an episode for the twins, have an episode for Beatrice, and have Chise go back to her cottage for the weekend and make some hemorrhoid cream for Mr. Andrews who lives nearby, or, stuff like that. We have the space for it. There is a space to breathe. Possibly might be used, might not be. Who's to say? Not I. What else needs to be said? I think that's it. I don't think I have anything more to say on the topic. I'm still thinking, how am I going to be recording those episodes? Because now I also have Magia Record added to my repertoire. I wonder if I might take like a day out of the week and record like 4 episodes straight or something like that, and maybe release them on Patreon a little early. I don't know. We'll see. You'll know when I make the decision. That's for sure, because I need to watch it all before the second core arrives, right? I wouldn't want to be limited by it. Yeah, I think that's it. But maybe you guys have something more to say, and if you do, say so in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? No spoilers, please. If you do want to talk spoilers, Discord is here and also in the description below, where you can talk spoilers to your heart's content. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Mahoutsukai no Yome, but also Zone 100, Atelier Ryza, Undead Girl, Murder Farce, Nanatsu no Makengashi Haisuru, Helk, and Magia Record. Phew. And others coming at you in the future. I also stream sometimes, so you might want to click the bell icon to be notified of when I go live. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, linked down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Madoc Magic and others, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, share my content, spread the word, it costs you nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the list of my wonderful patrons: QB, Without a Net, Fruit, Young Gaiju, Deuterus Curium, MZ, Rainer, Akamancer, Marsh, Fassel, Dr. Wotukala, and Hans Peter, and you can join them without the need for ear mufflers.